Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Steve Collins coming to you from cloudy San Antonio, Texas, the second most powerful, passionate, purposeful coach and speaker in the world. Hope you guys had a wonderful, wonderful past couple of days. I want to speak to you about something that is a very touchy subject in this age of rah, microwave stuff, millennial, give it to me now. I want to start my first job making $100,000 a year. I want. I'm entitled, I'm untitled. My person didn't win. I need a cupcake and some Play-Doh. All of the baby entitlement immaturity that we see running rampant that is unfortunately being perpetuated by the lack of people of character and integrity standing up, which facilitates this. Silence is assumed to mean consent. At some point, somebody with some huevos has to stand up at one time or another to say, this is a bunch of BS. This is a baloney sandwich. This is ridiculous. This is childish and immature behavior, and we must understand that there is a value in developing the maturity of being able to delay gratification. And it simply boils down to this simple statement of alliteration I will use today, and that is, you better get a hold of your freaking feelings or you're gonna fail forever. You will forever fail if you don't get a hold of your freaking feelings, if you don't learn that your feelings have very little to do with your success or the achievement of the things that are most important to you. If a person makes their decisions normally based on how they feel, they will lead a life of silent mediocrity, never amounting to much, simply because people tend to desire the path of least resistance and the path that costs the least. Well, I don't feel like going to the gym. Well, I don't feel like eating my greens. Well, I don't feel love for her anymore. Well, I just don't feel like that's what I should do. Well, I don't feel like forgiving them. Well, I don't feel like reading a book. I mean, I never like to read anyway. I don't feel like doing the dishes. I don't feel like taking... Do you guys get the vibe? Isn't that just a horrible, nasty... Doesn't that just grate on you when you hear that? Getting a hold of recognizing how you feel has very little to do with, and should have very little to do with, your commitment and your decision to take action on something that you have committed to yourself that is important to you. Is relationship important to you? Then at some point you have to get over feelings and take action to do the right thing. I know you got some huevos, mama. You raised me. I'm telling you, you've got to get past how I feel. How you feel about it has very little to do with whether or not action should be taken. I can count on one hand, the number of times in 3 years that the alarm went off at 4:20 a.m. and I felt like going to CrossFit at the 5 a.m. class. I can tell you how many times I felt like it, and yet I had a commitment. I can tell you how many times Eds and I felt like ripping each other's hair out and yelling at each other and throwing each other off the second floor balcony. I can tell you how many times we felt like that. I can tell you how many times my teenagers have felt like probably punching me in the face after 7 coaching sessions in a row. I can tell you how many times I have people in my office who have felt like firing me when I held them accountable to their goals and questioned whether or not what they said was serious was really showing up in their life. I can tell you that if you are waiting until you feel like it to do the things that you know you're supposed to do to achieve your goals, you will likely never achieve your goals and will forever fail, becoming a victim to your feelings. Husband, do you know it's important to your wife? Well, then I don't care if you don't feel like doing the laundry. Do it. Wife, do you know it's important to your husband to have a hug and a kiss before you send him out for the day? I don't care if you feel like doing it. Do it. Brothers and sisters, Have your relatives offended you? Well, I don't care if they offended you. Forgive them and let it go. Like Buddha said, unforgiveness is like drinking poison, hoping it kills the other person. It just messes you up. Your feelings can deceive you, and the heart can be deceptive above all things. So feelings are something to recognize, that during a season of building a habit, your feelings can be your number one detractor and your number one enemy to achieving the goals you've set for yourself. If you trust your feelings to bring you along the path, you are setting yourself up for frequent and forever failure. And yet, if you make the decision ahead of time that you know your feelings will not be in alignment sometimes with what is the right thing to do, then forewarned is forearmed, and you can be better prepared for the battle that ensues ahead. Remember, don't let your feelings make a fool of you. You be in charge of your feelings and recognize that you have the power to decide to act regardless of how you feel. It's called maturity. Have a great day, guys.